What is up, YouTube? It is Wednesday again. No messing around today. We're just going to jump straight into today's video, and that is how to get that Instagram fall look that everyone loves, the faded colours, the oranges popping. And I'm going to show you how to do that right here in Lightroom. So let's jump into it. So, swapping over here to the desktop. As you can see, got a picture here of just some woods where I went for a walk the other week. Obviously, fall colours are coming through now. Full swing of things, of fall, autumn, however you want to say it. Love this time of year. Absolutely love this time of year. Colours are just the best. Can't go wrong with some fall colours. So, fun fact, this photo is actually taken on my phone. It's taken on a Google Pixel. So, even if you're a photographer who only uses your phone camera, I can show you it works just as well on those sort of cameras. So, first thing we're going to do is coming over here to settings on the right hand side. We're going to drop the contrast. Really want to blend. We want a lower contrast here because we'll bring some of the contrast back in the curves. So I'm going to drop the contrast to about minus 45, 50, around there. And then we're going to come down here and go to the overall curves. We'll just chuck some points on here. Now, what I want to do here is bring this first point up. This really fades out the blacks. Not massively, just enough. See how faded the blacks look. And then we're going to slowly bring this stuff just under the line, just slightly. It gets that really faded look, and then this is where we're going to bring in the reds. So same thing again. We're going to do is chuck the points on here, and then we're just going to go for just ever so slight S curve, just ever so slightly bring up more of the reds a little bit. And what we're going to do here is I want all the curves for each of the colours to kind of match. So what I do is I copy, I paste, and then I come in here and I just tweak. I'll bring out some of the greens just a little bit, bring this down a bit more, just to start bringing out those reds in the trees. Not too much though, just a little bit. And then over here on the overall, the region one, the first, I forget what it's called, the parametric curve as it is, I'm just going to drop the highlights because I really want to fade out the highlights as well. So now that we've got that tone curve set up, I'm going to go back up to the top here and we're going to start playing with the exposure, highlights, shadows, whites and blacks, just to bring the exposure and stuff and dial it into how I want before we start playing with the colours. So this is as phones do, quite exposed. So I'm just going to ever slightly bring this down. Highlights, I actually want to bring back a bit, and the shadows we'll bring in. Blacks we'll just bring in a little bit again, help bring some of that contrast back, not much. The whites, and then this is where I haze it a little bit, and vibrance and saturation we won't touch because we'll do that in individual colours. So now I've kind of got this how I want. I'm just going to bring this down a little bit more. Okay, and that's all personal preference. So this is where we're going to come down to HSL, to hue, saturation, luminance. Now, first off, we want to focus in on the oranges. So here in saturation for greens, we're going to wrap that way down, way down, way down, way down. Same for aqua, bring that down. And then we're going to bring the hue of the greens that are left. I'm going to just push them more to the yellows, and then yellows we're going to start bringing here, oranges, start bringing in trying to darken those fall colours just so it's less green heavy. So you can see before, after. Now this is where I'm feeling I want to bring these down a little bit more, just now that I'm starting to see how it's looking. Just tweak them again. So, desaturate the greens. I want to then just ever so slightly desaturate the oranges, because you want that faded look still. You don't want the oranges to pop too much. Just ever so slightly just bring them down, because look, I could ramp them up and they look too much. Just ever so slightly bring them down, but then we're going to push the luminance just a little bit on the yellows and the oranges just to brighten it a little bit. So we've done the oranges, we've brought the luminance up. I actually do want to just the sky's very blue at the moment, so we want to desaturate the sky, bring the blue down, then we drop down here into color grading. This is where I want the highlights and the shadows. I want a warmer feel, so we're going to add orange to the highlights, and probably usually it would be the opposite, so then you would put a bit of blue in the shadows, but we'll see how it looks. So we're going to start with orange. I go super saturated, find the color that I want for the highlights, and then so if you click on the outside and keep the mouse to the outside, you can pick the color off the color wheel. So find that orange for me, because I really want to bring out those fall colors, orangey reds. And then I'm just going to bring this down, sliding it into the middle just to edge it off. Just what's that point now? Just find that point again, and then just bring too much. Only want it slightly, and then I actually think it's going to be better if I do shadows in orange as well. Just, but more in the like dark red, sort of there. I want it to have a warmer feel, and we're going to bring the blending. You can see if I go to the right here, a lot more warmth. Left feels cooler, so I want to bring the warmth up a little bit to the right with the blending. And I mean, already this was your before, this is your after. It's that desaturated look. Now I've played with the colors, I actually want to bring I personally want to bring the exposure down a little bit more. And what I'm actually going to do is, this is where this kind of gives you that look that people want, the faded look. So this is kind of where it's at, and then I add kind of like my tweaks to how I like photos. So I like a lot of texture and a lot of clarity, like that in mine. I'm going to just bring the shadows up a little bit, and then I want to focus in on the tree line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a graduated filter over this grass, and we're going to slam, we're just going to, well, not slam, but we're going to pull the exposure down so that foreground grass feels a bit darker and your eyes just drawn towards the trees, something like that. So that is how you get the Instagram fall look that you're seeing all over your feed. It's kind of like faded colors, heavy oranges and heavy reds. Looks great on the timeline, everyone loves them, and now you know how to get the same effect yourself. If you found this video helpful at all, remember to smash that like button down below. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button, as I'm going to be doing a lot more videos like this, tutorials for photography, graphic design, all that good stuff. And I appreciate all the love on the video. Catch you next week.